Now let's talk about the third powerful ingredient you should combine with turmeric, one that feels gentle, familiar, and deeply comforting, especially later in life: raw honey. For thousands of years, honey has been used not just as food, but as medicine. Long before modern supplements existed, people relied on honey to soothe sore throats, calm digestion, support wound healing, and restore strength after illness. And when paired correctly, raw honey becomes a remarkable companion to turmeric, particularly for adults over 60. Turmeric works hard in the body. Curcumin reduces inflammation, supports immune balance, and helps calm overactive inflammatory pathways. But for many older adults, turmeric can sometimes feel harsh on the stomach, especially when digestion is already sensitive. This is where raw honey plays a critical role. Raw honey contains natural enzymes, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory compounds that help soothe the digestive lining. Instead of irritating the stomach, it creates a gentler environment, one that allows turmeric to be tolerated more comfortably and used more consistently. When digestion is calm, absorption improves, and when absorption improves, turmeric can finally do its work. There's also an important metabolic benefit. Unlike refined sugar, which spikes blood glucose and fuels inflammation, raw honey, when used in small amounts, has a more balanced effect on blood sugar. It does not trigger the same inflammatory response that cancels turmeric's benefits. Instead, it supports energy without creating internal conflict. The key word here is raw. Raw honey is unfiltered, unpasteurized, and alive. It often looks slightly cloudy and may crystallize over time. That cloudiness is a sign that the beneficial enzymes and plant compounds are still intact. Most commercial honey on supermarket shelves has been heated and processed until it becomes little more than flavored sugar. That kind of honey offers sweetness, but very little healing. When turmeric and raw honey are combined, the result is more than convenience or taste. The honey softens turmeric's bitterness, making it easier to take daily. It also complements turmeric's anti-inflammatory action by supporting gut health and immune balance, two systems that become more fragile with age. Many seniors find this combination especially helpful in the evening. A warm drink made with turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, a healthy fat, and a small teaspoon of raw honey can feel soothing rather than stimulating. It becomes a ritual, not a chore, something the body looks forward to. Of course, moderation matters. For individuals managing diabetes or blood sugar issues, raw honey should be used carefully and in very small amounts. But for many older adults, even a teaspoon can make turmeric easier to tolerate and more effective over time. This final pairing reinforces a powerful truth about healthy aging. Healing works best when it feels supportive, not harsh. Turmeric doesn't need force, it needs the right partners. And when you avoid the foods that block it and combine it with those that support it, turmeric can finally become what it was always meant to be: a steady, natural ally as you age. Now, let's take a moment to step back and look at the full picture, because the true value of this conversation goes far beyond turmeric itself. What we're really talking about is how the body changes after 60 and how the way we use food can either support healing or quietly interfere with it. Turmeric has earned its reputation as one of nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory allies. Decades of research and centuries of traditional use have shown its ability to calm chronic inflammation, support joint mobility, protect brain function, and contribute to cardiovascular health. Yet, despite taking turmeric faithfully, many older adults feel little to no benefit. And as we've seen today, the reason is often not the spice, it's the context in which it's used. We began by examining the foods that work against turmeric. Processed dairy may feel comforting and familiar, but it can bind to curcumin and prevent absorption while also irritating digestion. Vinegar-heavy and highly acidic foods can destabilize curcumin before it reaches the bloodstream, especially in bodies already prone to reflux or sensitive digestion. Refined sugar, perhaps the most deceptive of all, actively fuels inflammation, directly opposing turmeric's healing mission. When these foods are combined with turmeric, the body receives mixed signals and healing stalls. Then we turned our attention to the foods that allow turmeric to work as intended. Black pepper unlocks curcumin through its compound piperine, dramatically increasing absorption. Healthy fats provide the transport system turmeric needs to reach tissues and joints. Raw honey, when used in moderation, supports digestion, softens turmeric's intensity, and complements its anti-inflammatory effects without triggering the blood sugar spikes caused by refined sugar. Together, these partners create an environment where turmeric can finally do what it's known for. This is where many people experience a turning point. When the right combinations replace the wrong ones, turmeric often begins to feel different. Not stronger in a dramatic way, but steadier, more consistent, and more reliable. Joints feel less stiff in the morning. Digestion feels calmer. Energy doesn't dip as sharply. These changes don't come from adding something new, but from removing the obstacles. There's a deeper message here for anyone over 60. Your body is not broken. It is not too old. It is simply more sensitive to contradictions. When foods send opposing signals, heal and inflame, calm and irritate, the body struggles. But when those signals align, healing becomes possible again. Healthy aging is rarely about extremes. It's about awareness, simplicity, and intention.
Support the same goal. And now that you understand what to avoid, it's time to bring everything together. Because the real power lies not in restriction, but in making choices that allow turmeric to finally do what it was meant to do. Now that we've talked about what blocks turmeric's benefits, let's shift to something far more empowering. The first food you should always combine with turmeric to help it work the way it's meant to, and that food is black pepper. At first, this may sound almost too simple. Black pepper is something most of us have used our entire lives without much thought. It sits quietly on the table, sprinkled over eggs, soups, or vegetables. But when it comes to turmeric, black pepper is not just a seasoning, it is a biological key. The healing power of turmeric comes from curcumin. The problem is that curcumin on its own is extremely difficult for the human body to absorb. In fact, without help, most of it passes through the digestive system unused. This issue becomes even more pronounced after 60, when digestion slows and the body becomes less efficient at pulling nutrients into the bloodstream. This is where black pepper changes everything. Black pepper contains a natural compound called piperine. Piperine has been shown to increase curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. That is not a marketing claim, it's a well-documented biological effect. Piperine slows the breakdown of curcumin in the liver and increases its ability to cross the intestinal wall. In simple terms, it allows curcumin to stay in the body long enough to actually do its job. Without black pepper, turmeric may offer very little benefit. With black pepper, it becomes a powerful anti-inflammatory ally, supporting joint comfort, circulation, brain health, and immune balance. For older adults, this pairing is especially important. Many people take turmeric faithfully, yet feel disappointed by the results. When black pepper is added correctly, those same people often notice reduced stiffness, better mobility, and less lingering inflammation within weeks. The amount needed is surprisingly small. Just a pinch of freshly ground black pepper is enough. Freshly ground matters because pepper loses potency over time. Pre-ground pepper that has been sitting in a shaker for years may contain very little active piperine. You can add this combination to warm drinks, soups, eggs, vegetables, or even simple meals. If you use turmeric supplements, check the label. High-quality formulas often include piperine or bioavailability-enhancing extracts. Without it, even a good supplement may fall short. This pairing teaches an important lesson about health after 60. It's not about taking more, it's about taking things together in the right way. And black pepper is just the beginning. Next, we'll look at another partner turmeric needs, one that has nothing to do with spices, yet plays a critical role in how deeply curcumin can support your body. Now, let's move on to the second essential component you should always combine with turmeric, and this one is just as important as black pepper, even though it's often overlooked. Healthy fats. Turmeric's active compound curcumin is fat-soluble. That means it cannot be properly absorbed unless fat is present. Without fat, curcumin struggles to pass through the intestinal wall and enter the bloodstream. Instead, much of it simply moves through the digestive system unused. This issue becomes even more pronounced after 60, when digestion slows and the body becomes less efficient at pulling nutrients into the bloodstream. This is why turmeric doesn't work for so many adults over 60. As we age, bile production and digestive efficiency naturally decline. This makes fat-soluble nutrients even harder to absorb. When turmeric is taken alone, for example, stirred into plain water or swallowed without food, its potential is severely limited. But when paired with the right kind of fat, something important changes. Healthy fats act like a transport system. They help dissolve curcumin, protect it during digestion, and carry it into circulation where it can reach inflamed joints, stiff muscles, blood vessels, and brain tissue. This is when turmeric begins to feel different, deeper, steadier, and more effective. The key here is the type of fat. Processed or damaged fats can increase inflammation and cancel turmeric's benefits, but natural, stable fats support absorption and healing. Some of the best options include extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, avocado, nuts, seeds, and unsweetened plant-based milks made from almonds or coconuts. These fats are gentle on the digestive system and align with turmeric's anti-inflammatory purpose. For example, turmeric cooked lightly with olive oil and black pepper becomes far more bioavailable than turmeric sprinkled on dry food. A warm turmeric drink made with unsweetened almond or coconut milk allows curcumin to dissolve properly. Even adding a small amount of avocado or nuts to a turmeric-containing meal can make a meaningful difference. For seniors managing joint pain, stiffness, or chronic inflammation, this pairing is especially important. Without fat, turmeric may offer minimal relief. With fat, many people begin to notice improved comfort, smoother movement, and less lingering inflammation within weeks. The amount needed is surprisingly small. Just a pinch of freshly ground black pepper is enough. Freshly ground matters because pepper loses potency over time. Pre-ground pepper that has been sitting in a shaker for years may contain very little active piperine. You can add this combination to warm drinks, soups, eggs, vegetables, or even simple meals. If you use turmeric supplements, check the label. High-quality formulas often include piperine or bioavailability-enhancing extracts. Without it, even a good supplement may fall short. This pairing teaches an important lesson about health after 60. It's not about taking more, it's about taking things together in the right way. And black pepper is just the beginning. Next, we'll look at another partner turmeric needs, one that has nothing to do with spices, yet plays a critical role in how deeply curcumin can support your body.
Let's move on to the second food group. Seniors should avoid combining with turmeric. And this one surprises many people because it's often associated with freshness, cleanliness, and healthy eating, vinegar-heavy and highly acidic foods. At first glance, vinegar feels harmless, even beneficial. It shows up in salad dressings, pickled vegetables, marinades, and that daily splash of apple cider vinegar some people take for digestion or blood sugar control. For decades, it's been framed as a health ally. But when turmeric enters the picture, this acidic companion can quietly become a problem. Turmeric's active compound, curcumin, is chemically sensitive. For it to survive digestion and reach the bloodstream, it needs a relatively stable environment. Highly acidic conditions, like those created by vinegar, can cause curcumin to break down prematurely. Instead of traveling through your system to calm inflammation, it becomes unstable before your body ever has a chance to use it. For older adults, this matters even more. Many people over 60 already struggle with acid reflux, sensitive stomachs, or slower digestion. When turmeric is consumed alongside vinegar-rich foods, the stomach environment becomes overly acidic. This not only reduces curcumin's effectiveness, but can also trigger discomfort, bloating, burning sensations, or that heavy feeling after meals. A common example is adding turmeric to a salad covered in vinaigrette or pairing a turmeric supplement with pickled foods. On the surface, it looks like a healthy choice. Vegetables, spices, light dressing. But inside the body, these elements are working against each other. The turmeric is trying to calm inflammation, while the acid is breaking it down and irritating the digestive tract. Over time, this combination can lead to disappointment. You continue taking turmeric, expecting relief for your joints or stiffness, yet nothing seems to change. You may even experience more digestive discomfort and assume turmeric is too harsh for you. In reality, it's not the turmeric, it's the acidic environment you're placing it in.
The solution isn't to fear vinegar entirely, but to separate timing and choose gentler pairings. When using turmeric, opt for fats like olive oil and add black pepper to support absorption. If you enjoy salads, consider lighter dressings with minimal acidity, or consume turmeric at a different time of day from vinegar-rich meals. This adjustment alone often restores turmeric's effectiveness and reduces digestive stress. It's another reminder that healing after 60 isn't about doing more, it's about doing things in harmony. And now comes the most deceptive pairing of all. It's sweet, comforting, deeply familiar, and it doesn't just block turmeric's benefits, it actively fuels the inflammation turmeric is trying to calm. Now let's talk about the third and often most damaging food group you should never combine with turmeric, especially after 60: refined sugar and sugary foods. This one is difficult for many people to accept because sugar is woven deeply into daily routines. A warm muffin with morning coffee, sweet cereal for breakfast, a pastry in the afternoon. Even foods marketed as healthy, granola bars, flavored oatmeal, baked goods with turmeric added, often contain large amounts of hidden sugar. They feel comforting, familiar, and harmless, but when paired with turmeric, sugar quietly becomes its strongest opponent. Turmeric works by calming inflammation, stabilizing immune responses, and supporting cellular repair. Refined sugar does the opposite. It rapidly raises blood glucose, triggers insulin spikes, and activates inflammatory pathways throughout the body. When turmeric and sugar are consumed together, the body receives conflicting instructions. One signal telling cells to heal, the other telling them to inflame and store energy. The result is cancellation, not balance. For older adults, this conflict is especially harmful. Aging bodies are more sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations and inflammation. When turmeric is taken with sugary foods, curcumin's anti-inflammatory effects are blunted almost immediately. Instead of easing joint pain or stiffness, the sugar fuels swelling, oxidative stress, and tissue irritation. Over time, this can worsen arthritis, fatigue, brain fog, and metabolic strain. This problem often hides in plain sight. Many seniors add turmeric to smoothies made with sweetened yogurt, drink turmeric lattes with sugar or flavored syrups, or take turmeric supplements alongside sugary breakfasts. The intention is good, but the pairing quietly erases the benefit. What makes this especially frustrating is the false conclusion many people reach. They assume turmeric is overhyped or that their age means nothing works anymore. In reality, turmeric hasn't failed. The sugar has been stealing the results before they can be felt. The solution isn't about removing all pleasure from food. It's about choosing sweetness that doesn't provoke inflammation. When using turmeric, avoid refined sugars and opt instead for whole oatmeal, whole foods, or very small amounts of natural sweeteners like raw honey or pure maple syrup, used mindfully and sparingly. This single change often leads to noticeable differences in joint comfort, energy levels, and digestion within weeks. It reinforces a powerful lesson for healthy aging. Healing foods only work when their partners support the same goal.
Did you know that if you're over 60 and regularly take turmeric for joint pain, inflammation, heart health, or memory support, 3 common foods could be silently canceling out its benefits? These aren't rare or exotic ingredients. They're likely sitting in your fridge, your pantry, maybe even on your plate right now. And when combined with turmeric, they don't just weaken its healing power, they can trigger inflammation, upset digestion, and quietly undo the very support you're hoping for. That means the golden spice you've come to trust, whether in your tea, smoothie, or supplements, might not be working the way you think. In fact, it could be holding you back from the progress your body truly needs without you ever realizing why. But here's the good news. Once you understand what to avoid and, more importantly, what to pair turmeric with, you can unlock its full healing potential safely, naturally, and effectively. Sometimes it's not about adding more supplements or doing something drastic. It's about making small, smart adjustments that work with your aging body, not against it. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and for over 20 years, I've worked closely with older adults across the United States, helping them reduce inflammation, protect their joints, and support long-term health through practical, science-based nutrition. One lesson stands out above all. After 60, your body responds best to clarity, consistency, and care. In today's video, I'll first share 3 everyday foods that dramatically boost turmeric's power, helping it absorb better and work deeper. Then I'll reveal 3 common foods seniors should never eat with turmeric, because over time, these combinations can quietly lead to digestive problems, lingering inflammation, and stalled healing. Before we continue, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future health tips made specifically for seniors. And I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from, and how do you currently use turmeric? Leave a comment below. I read every single one. Now, let's begin, because the way you use turmeric today may shape how strong and comfortable you feel tomorrow. Before we talk about which foods should be paired with turmeric to maximize its health benefits, we need to start with something even more important: the foods that can quietly work against turmeric and cause harm, especially for adults over 60. The first and most common mistake is combining turmeric with processed dairy products. For many older adults, dairy feels familiar and comforting. A splash of creamer in morning coffee, cheese with eggs, or a cup of flavored yogurt for breakfast. These habits have been part of daily life for decades, but when turmeric is added to the routine, this combination can silently undermine its healing potential. Turmeric's primary active compound is curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory substance that is already difficult for the body to absorb. As we age, digestion slows and nutrient absorption becomes less efficient. When processed dairy is present, curcumin faces 2 major obstacles. First, dairy proteins, especially casein, can bind tightly to curcumin in the digestive tract. When this happens, curcumin is prevented from entering the bloodstream, meaning it never reaches the joints, brain, or tissues where it is needed most. Turmeric is consumed, but its benefits are largely blocked. Second, processed dairy products are often filled with additives such as stabilizers, emulsifiers, preservatives, and added sugars. These substances can irritate the gut lining and disrupt digestion, particularly in older adults. Instead of reducing inflammation, this combination may actually promote low-grade inflammation and digestive discomfort. The result is frustrating and confusing. Many seniors take turmeric consistently, yet continue to experience joint stiffness, bloating, or fatigue. They may assume turmeric simply doesn't work for them, when in reality, the problem is the pairing, not the spice itself. The good news is that this mistake is easy to correct. Replacing processed dairy with gentler alternatives like unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or coconut milk allows curcumin to be absorbed more effectively and reduces stress on the digestive system. And this brings us to the next surprising ingredient, one that is often seen as healthy and digestive friendly, yet can break down turmeric's power even faster than dairy.